You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. COVID-19 claims 49 lives in 24 hours as death toll reaches 1,644. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA dies. MAIZE purchasing price will not impact the consumer's charges, cuts Zambia. In international news, South Africa tightens security due to rising cases of COVID-19. And in sports news, INDENI coach suspended. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama says the rise in the COVID-19 cases is an indication that COVID transmission is still taking place at household, community and institutional levels. In a statement, the ministry has announced that the country has recorded the highest number of COVID-19 deaths, new patients and admission. Zambia has recorded 49 COVID-19 deaths, bringing the cumulative number of COVID-19 related deaths recorded to 1,644, classified as 1,004 COVID-19 deaths and 640 COVID-19 associated deaths. The country has further recorded 2,060 COVID-19 positive cases in the last 24 hours out of 8,278 tests done. These statistics are courtesy of the Ministry of Health. Zambian entrepreneur and author Malama Katulwende has charged that the conduct by politicians during this critical COVID-19 time is worrisome. Speaking with Camnet TV in an interview, Mr. Malama lamented that politicians have continued to take casually disregarding the COVID-19 pandemic. He adds that politicians must not be selfish but consider the safety of the citizens, hence should avoid finding themselves in places where they attract large crowds. Meanwhile, he has urged President Edgar Lungu and Vice President Inonge Wina to stop inspecting projects in different parts of the country as they attract a magnitude of people. He has reiterated that such jobs must be left to permanent secretaries to do because they do not attract a number of people, and this will not risk the lives of anyone.
On the contrary, we have seen that a number of political leaders are still carrying themselves as though there was no COVID-19. I'm given to believe that the president would like to curb the spike in the COVID cases, and yet we have seen instances where the vice president, Mama Inongewina, with the presidential running mate for the Patriotic Front, Professor Nkandluwo, going on trips and tours, visiting markets. Now, when our leaders go to visit markets, they are bound to attract crowds of people who would pull around them, and that in a sense would spread potentially COVID-19. So what kind of messages are they giving to the nation? I think that in leadership, the examples to do certain things that policy direction must start with our leaders themselves. So I would also like to encourage, therefore, the president to stop making these tours. They are saying that they are inspecting projects, but I think that these projects can be inspected by permanent secretaries and junior officers, because junior officers have the less likelihood of inviting many crowds. But when a president moves to one location, most people would come around him, and that beats the Electoral Commission of Zambia ban on rallies, more or less, or roadshows.
Healing Word Ministries overseer Pastor Moses Chiluba has charged that the COVID-19 pandemic has come as an awakening for people to reflect on who God is. Speaking during the Sunday service sermon, Pastor Chiluba says the love of God never separates from the people, hence the need for all to seek God's face in this trying time. The Healing Word overseer has noted that the pandemic has made leaders globally begin to control its people away from what God would want. He has therefore reminded the people that the same God who kept his people before COVID-19, among many other challenges, will see his people through this pandemic.
I tend to say that COVID has come to reveal how much we love God. You call it a disease, I call it a separator of those who trust Jehovah and those who don't. Because when you look at the book of Romans, we easily read the word of God, we quote the word of God, but we don't believe it. Pastor, how? The Bible says, what shall separate us from the love of God? What shall separate us from the love of God? Pastor, why are you saying this? The Bible says, do not neglect the fellowship of together. That's in the book of Hebrews. As is the manner of some. Others have got manners of avoiding the house of God. And I want you to know that this time the voice of the world is stronger than the voice of the church. Because this time the government everywhere in the world, it's not just Zambia, they are telling us what to do, how many you should meet, and what time you should meet, what time you should leave the church. This is coming not from the Creator, it's coming from the governments around the globe. Why? Because there is a cartel, there is a syndicate against the church, so that evangelism may go down, so that the love of God may go down, so that people may backslide. Why? There is a wave of COVID. But I want to speak to those of you watching me by television. The same God who kept you before COVID is the same God who is here.
Deliverance Church Zambia overseer Bishop Fortune MAIZE has conveyed his message of condolences to the family of the first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who died on Thursday, the 17th of June at Mainasoko Military Hospital in Lusaka. Bishop MAIZE says Dr. Kaunda will be remembered for his firm policy of zero tolerance for corruption during his regime. Bishop MAIZE says that the late founding father of the nation had placed a high value on Zambians and respected people regardless of their status in the community. He says Dr. Kaunda knew very well that Zambia could rapidly develop if its population was well educated, hence his deliberate policy of free education from primary to university level, which worked for the country for the first 3 decades.
One Zambia, one nation. And so we were not there to fight one another. We united and we were together as one. 2, the servant leadership. They taught us not to steal or to be corrupt. Everything was straightforward. For example, my going to German, I never paid a coin. I never knew anybody in the government. It was on merit. Your results were enough to go to UK and so forth. And so we see, I can go on the list, I can give you even 50 things, but for starters, those were very important in education. Respect for every Zambian and even other races was very key. Integrity, not stealing, but being faithful, that the money for the people belongs to the people. And he taught us those values. So I have those fond memories. One, I hope it's not very political. He was ready to surrender power easily. He never fought. And I can go on with the list. So he's a great man, a great leader, and I would say.
Vice President Inonge Wina says late President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was a strong man whose death brings back a lot of memories of how he fought for the country's freedom. The Vice President says Zambians must be proud of the man as he was. Zambia must be proud of the man he was and appreciate him as a true leader and a man who lived with Christian values. She adds that Zambia produced an international statesman as from the response from the international community. More in this report.
Just upon arrival at the funeral house, Zambia's Vice President Inonge Wina wept, recalling how a true selfless leader Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was. She has described him as a great leader whose death brings back memories of how he fought for the country's freedom.
The old man was strong. He kept this country on its feet. And sorry for breaking down because his passing brings very strong memories of the past in my life and the life of this nation. When we remember where we have come from, where he brought us, and where we are today.
How honored the Vice President says Zambians must be proud of the man he was and appreciate him as a true leader and a man who lived with Christian values.
As Zambians, but a man who lived by the Christian values he was brought up with, and you could see this reflected in his life and in the government he led. So that gives us real strength to continue honoring him and to really be proud that this country has produced an international statesman. As you can see from the reactions of many leaders in the world, international organizations who are sending their messages of condolence. Really, it makes Zambians proud. It makes me hold my head. I only wish the family peace.
Zambians continue to celebrate the life of its first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who died on the 17th of June 2021 after a short illness. Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAKEZ, Executive Director Aaron Chansa has appealed to the current political leaders in the country to prioritize funding education, motivating teachers and recruiting at least 10 times the 1,200 teachers being recruited in 2021 out of the over 55,000 unemployed trained teachers roaming the streets. In a statement issued to Camnet TV, Mr. Chansa says politicians must imitate Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who wanted all Zambians to access quality education regardless of status in society. He adds that as the country is mourning him, there is need to make serious commitments to the education sector. He reiterates that this is because Dr. Kaunda believed that no nation could develop beyond the level of its education.
Teachers across Zambia have joined Zambians, the Kaunda family and the international community in mourning one of the greatest sons of Africa in Kenneth Kaunda. The passing on of Kenneth Kaunda has robbed our education sector a great ally, a friend who passionately loved quality education. And after rescuing Zambia from the jaws of colonialism, Kenneth Kaunda and his friends embarked on robust reforms, social reforms. As we mourn this great son of the soil, we want to appeal to the current political leadership to emulate him and make sure that a lot of funding goes to education. We need to have quality education given to all citizens as Kaunda wanted. Kaunda wanted all Zambians to access quality education regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their station in life. And as we mourn him, we will do well as a country to give serious commitments to education so that he can rest in peace.
The Consumer Unit Trust Society, CUTS, says the increase in the maize buying price announced by the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, will have no impact on the consumers. FRA has set 150 kwacha as its maize buying price for a 50-kilogram bag of maize during this year's crop marketing season, representing an increase of 40 kwacha from the 110 kwacha in the last crop marketing season. But CAT's national coordinator in an interview, Dr. Claudia Pollen, says that the increase will only benefit the farmer and affect the consumers negatively because mealie meal prices are likely to go up. Dr. Pollen has emphasized that the low-income families will bear the cost, stressing that they will have limited access to having 3 meals per day. She is further concerned that the disposal income is not going up for an ordinary Zambian, thereby making it difficult to have a decent meal.
The issue with the maize price is that this is for the small farmers, right? The small farmers, so they will have the higher maize. But what would that mean for the consumer? Would that mean increased prices of mealie meal?
We can get that one.
If it means increased prices of mealie meal, we know very well that mealie meal, shima or basically maize meal, is a staple food in Zambia. So this means that the consumer will be hit the most. And again, it goes back to the fact that those low-income households will bear the risk. that means limited access to having 3 meals a day, for example, or even just basically have to sort of reduce from their intake in order to meet, you know, other pressing needs. So in essence, this increase in price will probably benefit the farmer, but will affect the consumer negatively because incomes are not going up in this whole process. Incomes have not gone up, and inflation is just getting higher and higher and higher. So what is happening? It's obviously the consumer is going to be affected in terms of access to basic needs.
We take our first set of commercials to stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
In Memorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA has died. This is according to a statement issued by Secretary to the Cabinet Simon Miti on behalf of President Lungu. Minor details are that the late Lady Justice traveled on official duty to Egypt on the 10th of June, where she fell ill and died in a private hospital in Cairo. Prior to her appointment as Chief Justice, MAMBILIMA was the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. In this position, addition, she presided over Zambia's 2006-2011 presidential and parliamentary elections and the January 2015 presidential by-election. She has been part of several election observer missions, including in Liberia, Kenya, Mozambique, and Seychelles. And moving on in the news, residents of Kanyama compound in Lusaka have raised alarm over the poor state of some roads in the area. Speaking with Camnet TV in an exclusive interview, some bus drivers have lamented that the majority of the roads in the area have potholes which damage their vehicles and make transportation difficult. Among the poor roads in the area is the Roma Shungu, the road that connects to Mumbwa Road. They are calling upon relevant authorities to look upon this issue as it has badly affected their businesses as bus drivers. Details in this report.
The poor state of this road in Lusaka's Kanyama compound is a matter of serious concern to the residents, most especially the bus drivers. Despite recent constructions of road in this area, this road called Roma Shungu, which connects to Mumba Road, remains unattended. Residents state that for quite some time they had pleaded with their local leaders to address the complaint, but nothing has been done.
So when I go to road, like for pezeka na mabus ma drivers tuvuti kama ningi mukaiona road ni Roma Shungu ili busy so peza ati ukaronga mtao nche mashok kala chama moto kama mashok kumaona ka mashok kwa each and every time automatic chani yaononge kama hivi because of road na mukaiona road si hapa pick up or mkaenda class 2 kwa ile class station
the loads get stuck, the vehicles get stuck, they can't move. Like they are at a junction at Chinika. When you are using the road, this road going to Chinika, the road is damaged too much. It's like there's a it made a drainage, but it's a road. It looks like a drainage, so they have to fix the road.
The road, which is reportedly impassable due to potholes, makes vehicles find it hard to navigate through.
So all my customers from Dandalonga to town because the last station here to me ni so ufungati or move where moto like kuna kubwera ufuna waembeza mzako first apite emana yapo to pit oife kama motoka veti ponya masample hapo ndio monga hapo yesterday guys anapo ponya futi sample mimi ya so winda so motoka nda so sample ya pwani food ma springs food sianga na munje ya shaking unaona so motoka motoka sianga hapo na munje so tutapapata so watu kwanza kucha road si ipo na munje kozi road si manja.
Some residents have stated that the road has not been worked on since 2011 and that whenever it rains, it becomes impassable.
This is zone hapa. Motoka zipite kama jumba, pesa jumba, futi kai pima kala manzi hapa. Ova. Manzi kwa ati motoka kama watu mataxi tungunu. Tumangena manzi pera mawindows, mawindo level. Tupuriza tumwela. Put dust monga na dust so hapa so. Dust all over just mareka dust. Mwanzo pameni hapa ngoti
singa hapa yako wati. Ameshi itwaiwatana nikane hapa nini public road hapa dam site so pare fika ko difida na tia isura eza mposa menshiro makolongo tuika so as a result amenshi takwa to kwakuya esa mukala pa road noanda mbona kwa chi road taikokoda nangwa panga so itafa kwa nani drainage.
They are since calling on relevant authority to address this issue.
Road skydi vema mapangira stinga ziwe bene vema mapangira but mungati otherwise munga ini kwanga cheni mudandao na mungati road ngafu munga road jeve bati onako.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A political scientist, Musiani Sichone, has charged that it is difficult for political violence to end in Zambia when there is so much hatred among top leaders. Speaking with Camnet TV, Mr. Sichone states that in order for the country to address the issue of violence among political players, reconciliation is something that should be first talked about. He explains that the top leaders must first reconcile, as this is one of the best ways of addressing the spark of political violence in some selected parts of the country.
It's not a thing that way we can just say by speaking, okay? I think the main issue dwells on political will, from all the political players, starting from the top. I'm telling you, if a father in a household decides to implement a rule in their house, everyone is actually going to do it. So if we talk in terms of political violence, I think for now, okay, we need to clean up our houses, both ruling and opposition, and it actually needs to start from the top. The problem with our leaders today, okay, there's so much hatred between leaders, okay, there's so much hatred between leaders that they can't even sit in the same room, they can't even stand each other. But if leaders could come together and reconcile, which is reconciliation is a very, very important process in this whole thing. It needs to start from the top. They need to reconcile. From then onwards, they need to set their houses in order, both the ruling parties and the opposition parties. And then after that, okay, then we can talk in terms of consolidating our stance as a nation and as a country with regard to political violence. Remember, at the end of the day, we are all interested in one thing, which is Mother Zambia.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has been urged to consult all stakeholders before making decisions affecting the electoral process. Federation of Free Trade Union of Zambia, FFTUZ President Chingati Msiska says though the decision to suspend the ruling Patriotic Front and Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, from conducting all manner of political campaigns is welcome, it is important that the Commission engages affected political parties. In an interview, Mr. Msiska notes that the reactions to the Commission's decisions by the two political parties is an indication that they were not consulted before coming up with the decision. He adds that the Commission should ensure that they are genuine in the manner they are managing the electoral process, with only a month before the country goes to the poll. Mr. Msiska has, however, called on political parties to ensure that they adhere to all the regulations that have been put in place by the Commission and the Ministry of Health to avoid further suspensions.
And as the Labour movement, I think we have been, for some time now, we have been following up the happenings as regard to that processes. And much as we know this is an election year, it's very important that the lives of Zambians are also protected. And this is why we want to agree basically as regard to how we're going to handle this year's election. Because basically, you know, it's life which is more important than the elections themselves. So what CCZ has done is good, and we support it, except that maybe we need also to put in guidance what else is going to be done in order for the candidate to be sold out to the electorate. So those are matters that we should be looking into and also give an alternative. And also ECZ should take it up deliberately to involve all stakeholders so that people are able to understand. Because there is no nation which will be happy to see its citizen dying, its citizen getting sick and having to contract the virus which is deadly, and at the end of it all, they want this election to rejoice about. So this is why, as the Labour movement, I think we're excited, and we look forward to maybe other measures which are going to be put in place to make sure that there is an
New Heritage Party President Jishala Kateka has urged the Zambian media to objectively cover all presidential, parliamentary and local government candidates participating in this year's general elections. Ms. Kateka has advised the media to ensure that they write the truth and avoid sensationalizing stories which may lead into misinformation. In an interview, she says all political parties must be given equal coverage. The New Heritage Party has since advised the media to allow citizens to make their own decisions based on what they have seen, as opposed to imposing a media house's own opinion on the electorate.
The press need to objectively cover stories. I have seen a situation where people, they cover a story, then they add their own comments. I think that you need to be objective. You need to be free to speak the truth because you are the sixth estate, right? But you need to speak the truth, but you need to be fair, cover all parties regardless of your own personal opinion or who you are representing, and allow the public to make an informed view. I think that is the responsibility that the press has, but do not be afraid to do the right thing.
Police in Lusaka have arrested 4 suspects in connection with the murder and aggravated robbery involving Dr. Evans Mwengwe. The alleged incident is said to have occurred between the 10th and the 12th of June 2021 between Kabwe Town and 6 miles in Kabangwe area. Police Deputy Spokesperson Danny Mwale says they have also managed to locate the motor vehicle for the deceased, a Mercedes-Benz, in Chilenje Township.
Police in Lusaka have arrested 4 suspects in connection with the murder and aggravated robbery involving Dr. Evans Mwengwe, which occurred between June 10 and June 12, 2021, between Kabwe Town and 6 miles in Kabangwe area. Police have also managed to locate the motor vehicle for the deceased, a Mercedes-Benz ML, registration number 2838, at a named house in Chilenje Township. The vehicle has been partially stripped. The suspects have been identified as Doris Nduba, aged 23, of unknown house number, Minwood Ibex Hills in Lusaka; Kenan Jere, aged 23, of Katondo compound in Kabwe; Kigani Zuru, aged 38, of unmarked house number in Lusaka's Charara area; and Josat Tembo, aged 42, of house number 467, New Chilenje in Lusaka. Preliminary investigations revealed that the deceased offered transport to the suspects from Bimas in Kabwe. He was found dead at 6 miles in Kabangwe area. The suspects are currently detained in police custody.
We take another set of commercials. To stay with us as we still have international and sports news. Don't go away.
I was born in Mwengwa in a grass-thatched house. I went to school barefoot and then to secondary school. University came, all of these on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia. Many people ask me questions. Why have you continued to seek public office? You've been arrested 15 times. This fight is not about IRENE. It's about 18 million Zambians who want a better life. I'm standing for the presidency of this country because I know and I believe that this country is so rich and yet its people live in poverty. I am standing for that child to have an opportunity to go to school the way I did myself. It's time for change. Zambians have suffered enough. I'm Hakainde H. Lema. I invite you to take my hand. Together, we will build a better land for every Zambian.
Kumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date: 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges: 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time: 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time: 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Abex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, South Africa's government has tightened COVID-19 restrictions to fight a third wave, which is expected to be worse than the last one in some areas. The army has been deployed to assist doctors in the most populous province of Gauteng, where nearly 2/3 of the country's active cases have been reported. Hospitals are under pressure and oxygen supplies are running out. Meanwhile, African News reports that West African leaders have agreed to a new single currency plan. West African leaders present at a summit in Ghana on Saturday agreed to a new roadmap to launch a new single currency in 2027. The bloc had planned to launch a common currency this year, but postponed the plan due to the challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic. ECOWAS Commission President Jean-Claude said the pandemic had upset plans to implement the convergence plan. ECOWAS had planned to launch a common currency this year, but postponed the plan due to challenges of the coronavirus. Here's a roundup of international news stories.
People in South Africa have been rushing to vaccination sites as a third wave of coronavirus infections sweeps through the country. The Health Ministry said Friday it was deploying army personnel to its commercial hub and most populous province to help battle the surge.
At the moment, more people are willing to be vaccinated just because now, as South Africa, we are in a third wave. We've got high numbers, especially Gauteng province, and even Tshwane, that sees up to more than 2,000 cases a day. So people are scared. Now people are opening up to say, you know what, I don't want to be part of the statistics.
The government has been criticized for the slow pace of the vaccination drive. The country has had to destroy 2 million doses of the J&J vaccine due to contamination, the latest setback to hit its already struggling inoculation program. Only around 2 million single shots have been administered since February.
Yes, I'm relieved because I know I've been protected up to so far from this COVID story.
To be honest, I was skeptical about it, but due to the fact that my children, especially my daughter, registered for me, so then I deem it right that I'd rather just go for it.
South Africa has expanded its vaccination campaign to include older people. To date, the country has recorded over 1.7 million coronavirus cases. West African countries present at a summit in Ghana on Saturday agreed on the roadmap to launch a single currency in 2027. The bloc had planned to launch a common currency this year, but postponed the plan due to challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic. The currency known as ECO aims to replace the CFA franc used in former French colonies. But some countries such as Nigeria and Ivory Coast have been accused of dragging their feet on the issue. The summit also discussed Mali's political crisis. ECOWAS suspended Mali after a coup that toppled the country's transitional government in May. Coup leader Kano Assimi Goita has since been sworn in as president and activist Shogel Maiga as prime minister. But the summit did not lift Bamako's suspension despite noting positive developments. Goita has vowed to stick to the old transition schedule which prescribes a return to civilian rule in February of 2022.
We now get into sports news. And in sports news, the Football Association of Zambia FAS has suspended INDENI Football Club head coach Mwenya Chipepo indefinitely for his salvatory comments in the aftermath of his 13th June 2021 league clash against Forest Rangers, which ended 0-0. Mwenya will not be allowed to sit on the bench until the disciplinary process has been concluded. According to a suspension letter addressed to INDENI Football Club from FAS, Chipepo will not be expected to sit on the bench until the matter is conclusively adjudicated on. The action of the coach was in total contravention of Article 13 of the FAS Constitution and Ethics Code, FAS said. The utterances came barely a fortnight after a circular was issued to clubs to desist from attacking match officials. Chipepo has since been given up to Wednesday, June 23, 2021, to formally respond to the charges against him. The FAS Chief Executive Officer says officials have been repeatedly warned about airing grievances through established channels. This is according to a statement issued to the media by Football Association of Zambia Communications Manager Sydney Mungala. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. COVID-19 claims 49 lives in 24 hours as death toll reaches 1,644. Chief Justice IRENE MAMBILIMA dies. MAIZE price will not impact the consumers, charges cuts Zambia. And in international news, South Africa tightens security due to rising cases of COVID-19. And in sports news, INDENI coach suspended. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Proverbs 26:7, and it reads, "Many a man proclaims his own loyalty, but who can find a trustworthy man? The man who lives with integrity is righteous. His children who come after him will be happy." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.